was I gonna be? Whatever you wanted. But you chose to keep me. I ruined your life. You ruined my life so pretty.
What was the first job you took to pay the bills before you break out as an actor?
I had a lot of jobs, but my favorite thing to do was make like an adult man's wage with my tools. So at age like 15 or 16, I was framing houses and blacktopping roads, and I was like, man, I was making cash, and it was really tempting to just stay in the trades my whole life. But fortunately, I decided to become an artist, and my knees are thanking me.
Well, I don't know. You do a lot of wrestling and a lot of athletic feats in this.
It's true, but I only have to pretend.
Yeah, still hard work. I think one of my first ones was working in a coffee shop and getting trained on the coffee machine and not burning the milk, because they wanted us to do it properly, so we weren't allowed to use like the little temperature gauge to get it into the sweet spot. So you just had to hold it and keep touching it, and I burnt my hands so many times on that. And I don't think I make a very good coffee.
And you mentioned wrestling, so Nick, I have to ask you, how was it to wrestle with Nicole Kidman? Because I saw you had fun, and I'm curious, how much preparation was there actually?
There was a lot of prep. We were trained by a real pro wrestler named Chavo Guerrero, who did the Iron Claw, and he did that show Glow. He's kind of the Hollywood, he's a real wrestler who's the consultant. And so I trained with him for 3 weeks because I had a lot of wrestling to do. And Nicole was incredible. I mean, I never dreamed I would get to do a scene with her at all, let alone get beat up by her in a wrestling ring. So it was really a lot of fun. I can't imagine having my ass kicked by a finer person.
So it wasn't on your bingo card for your career?
It was not, but now I've gotten a new card.
And also, both of your characters are into wrestling. So I'm curious, when you were watching Nick on the stage, were you thinking like, damn, I would like to try it as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I got to come to set and see you do those days. And one of the ones was when you walk out and it's his entrance to the ring. And everyone was there and they were shooting it. We had multi-cams and they were shooting it like they did back in the day. And the frames they were using, it was so cool. And the energy was infectious. But I think we talk a lot about the physicality of that, but also the emotional energy that you have to do take after take after take of ramping up a crowd and then actually seeing you in the ring. I remember, I think it was lunch. We broke for lunch and I was like, can I get in there? Am I allowed to go in? And John Epstein, who did our stunts, he was like, yeah, come on. And he showed me how to get in and he showed me how you kind of bounce off the ropes and propel yourself to the other side. And I was like, this is so fun. And the springiness of the, is it called a mat?
It is.
I was like, oh, I want to get up there and I want to jump. I want to do the one that you jump off the edge.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I wanted to.
It's really fun.
Listen, everything is still before you. And this series is also about the idea that we must face the consequences of our decisions. That's why I would like to ask, have you ever made a choice in your life where the consequences eventually become overwhelming for you?
Ooh.
Oh, gosh. That's deep. Sure. I mean, I feel like I've made bad decisions where I chose like a job that you eventually realize. I've either in the theater or with film where you sign on to a project and you come to realize there's something wrong, that maybe somebody in the project is there for the wrong reasons, and it's taking more and more of your time and it's taking up your calendar. And so there have been a couple times where I had to say, you know what, guys, and you have to extricate yourself from the situation, and they get mad and you say, I'm so sorry, but I left my dog in another country. Goodbye. And you run.
I think actually this job for me was a consequence in a good way because we had there was 2 jobs and this was one of them. And the other job was a solid offer and we hadn't got the offer for Margo yet. And it was going to be weeks and weeks and weeks of recalls, of people having to say yes or no. And it was a bit of a leap of faith to hang on and wait to see what happened with Margo. And I loved the other job a lot, but I can't go into anything without 100% knowing that I'm here in good faith and I'm totally committed to this project. And so I unfortunately had to pass on that. And I remember waiting and waiting going, oh my God, what have I done? What happens if this doesn't work out? And then I got the call from Dervla, and I just couldn't believe it. But then the consequences of that was unbelievable, of that leap of faith. And the consequence of the action was I get to be here today talking to you about a show that has been so, I think, life-changing for me and meeting incredible people. And the consequence in this case was a good one.